What's going on, guys?
What's going on? Oh, sorry, you're talking to the camera, sorry.
What's going on, guys? I'm Simple Simon. I'm your comic book noob. Welcome to the NOOB Rebirth.
Comic book noob.
This is the man who never shuts up, Mark from Big City Comics. Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
It's been a few weeks since the movie came out, so I think it's time that we can probably talk about, do a spoiler review on No Way Home. And by the time this video comes out, I'm pretty sure when it
If I knew that, I would have worn my Spider-Man t-shirt. Again, no forward phone call or message telling me this is what we're doing today. Make sure you wear a Spider-Man t-shirt or something.
I told you this 2 weeks ago.
No, he didn't.
Anyway,
He didn't.
Today we're going to do a spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home, and we're going to have some guests. So
Yes!
let's do this. Alrighty, so we have MadSpidey as a special guest today. If you guys aren't subscribed to MadSpidey, make sure you do. His link will be in the description below.
Introduce me.
And this is Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Mark's the hand between the Simons.
I'm not a skier. I don't know. I'm not
He's in between a nice Simon
not gonna
sandwich.
ski. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess we'll start off maybe with our guest today, and then maybe I'll give my 2 cents because it's going to be very brief, and then we'll let Mark
That's right.
carry the rest of the show.
That's right, the main event.
Yeah,
That's
then we'll let Mark just talk for the rest of the
So it'll be
episode.
like a 30 second,
Yeah.
3 hours.
So MadSpidey, as a big Spider-Man fan yourself, what do you think of the film, mate?
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. There were some things that could have been changed, but I still, as a theatrical lover, like I do love my movies and obviously love Spider-Man and all that sort of stuff, I just thought it was awesome.
Was there anything that surprised you?
It's probably more of a whole with the whole Tom Holland Spider-Man series. It's probably that a lot of people have clicked, but not everybody has, that everybody just thinks this is the normal universe when you really think about it to the nuts and bolts, it not really is. Because look at Flash Thompson, he's not a big football playing meathead. Betty Breen is a school kid, not a working at the Daily Bugle.
MJ is not Mary Jane, right?
Mary Jane is not Mary Jane, it's Michelle Jones or whatever like that. So it is obviously a different universe. So the rumour is, are they going to go to another Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and was that the original, or was the other one the original?
Oh.
So
Maybe we could see a Scarlet Spider.
Scarlet Spider, obviously there's rumours floating around that Spider-Gwen might pop in as well.
I was hoping that they'd maybe hint at that in this movie, but they didn't.
Maybe in the end, sort of
They threw in a little Miles reference in there.
There was a few little Easter eggs.
Yeah. I just thought it was epic, like as far as like a film goes, because we were coming off Black Widow and Shang-Chi, which I just thought were okay. I feel like this went back to feeling like an epic film, like your Endgames and things like that. So I really enjoyed the ride, but I think all the little surprises, obviously if you kept up with all the speculation and stuff, you knew it was all going to be there, so none of that surprised me. But a man that does not watch any of the stuff before he watches a film is Mark from Big City Comics. So you wouldn't have really seen much of that stuff, I'm guessing.
No, but I knew about it. But I was just surprised. The question is how they were going to do it, or not when or if they were going to do it. I just thought it was brave to do a live action movie like that. I just thought it was clever, like very smart in a financial sense, because now they're going to make more money. I've said it for years, you know, if Marvel and Sony come together, make a movie together, they're going to make a lot more money, you know, and they put the studio executive put their egos aside and said, let's do this. Let's like this. Same with the actors. They brought them in, let's put their egos aside and differences aside from future differences or past differences, shall I say. And so, and another thing that was very clever in forward thinking is that now Sony are left to go off. They can go off and do their own Spider-Man movies and leave the MCU do their own Spider-Man movies. That's the whole brilliant of it.
So now the other question is, do you now include the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield movies into the MCU?
Maybe later down the track, if they wanted to do that, of course they can do that now. As we know, they can do that.
But
now.
I mean like the existing ones already. Would you now classify them as MCU movies?
No. because they're not in the MCU. The No Way Home films are
Separate entity.
A separate entity. Homecoming and that they're all the that's MCU Spider-Man. Whereas the other ones are just their own universe.
It's definitely a clever way to get Spider-Man back into Sony as well, because now they can
exactly
do
what I said.
Yeah, so-
Absolutely. They can go off and make their own Spider-Man universe if they want now.
which is what they're kind of hinting at, right? Because obviously
Absolutely.
they got Venom, they got the Morbius film coming out,
Yeah,
things like
it's
that.
probably be Andrew Garfield. If anything, I don't think Tobey.
That's what a lot of people are pushing for. They're pushing for a number 3, which is like watch what happened with this movie. They were hinting and people were wanting and even doing like, you know, sort of signing petitions and that to try and get the other 2 and do like a multiverse movie, and it didn't end up eventuating.
I think it's not out of the question for them to do like an Into the Spider-Verse live action if they really wanted to. I mean, it's not out of the question. We know now it's possible. You know, the script was awesome. I thought it was very clever scripting. You know, the way Tobey and Andrew Garfield were talking about their Spider-Man. They played 2 different type of Peter Parkers.
About the squirting out the... How'd you do that?
There were 2 different Peter Parkers. So, you know, Tobey Maguire's played the thoughtful one, the real conscious of how he's feeling. You know, how should I say, the insightful one. He was always the insightful Peter Parker, whereas the other one, he was more the emotional one. And the way they were talking between each other, you know, how he's saying, "Oh no, man, you're amazing," and you know, the in-joke was that because his movie was called The Amazing Spider-Man, you know, so it was clever in that respect, you know. And the whole oh my God, that comes out of you. What the hell? So, you know, that sort of thing. Make it different. Like, make it a point that he was bitten by a different type of spider, you know, compared to the other 2.
What's interesting was you were saying that people have been pushing for the Andrew Garfield one to do another one, but from memory, I thought the Garfield movies weren't very well liked by fans.
I actually did like them.
I only watched them more recently and they were okay. But I just, in my head, I thought that people thought they were trash, but the Tobey Maguire ones were some reason people loved. Except for the third one, I think it's trash. Trash.
Yeah, it's probably because I saw like as Andrew Garfield, like I didn't really like the suit style as much, but he was a bit more of the, you know, like the quick-witted, the quips and stuff like that sort of style.
More talker,
thing, whereas Tobey Maguire wasn't.
Yeah, no, not as much. He was a little bit.
Spider-Man's a smart ass, basically.
Who made your costume? Who made your costume? And your boyfriend?
Yeah.
That sort of thing, which was Tobey Maguire's line or something similar to that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that, but not as much. Whereas Andrew Garfield used more of that.
And that's one of the reasons why it drew me to Spider-Man, because he was basically just, you know, a nerd that had been bullied all his life, obviously got these powers, and then he pretty much he still had the 2 personas though. So he was a real smart ass in the suit, but he was still sort of fairly quiet and reserved and the real sort of, you know, quintessential nerd sort of thing as Peter Parker.
And that's what I love about the way Tom Holland plays him. It's really good. You know, it's awkward. He's even in the suit. He's awkward. He's nervous. You know, he's got these powers. He uses them to his full potential, but he's still awkward and nervous about it. You know,
almost like he even has to ask for permission. To do
and
something.
apologise. You know, sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. You know, like, it was like reading a comic book. Not that there's a story like that in comic books, which there are thousands of multiverse stories in comic books. But it was like a comic book, a comic book on, you know, like 3-dimensional. I couldn't believe what I was watching. You know, and movie executives always talk about the greater audience. Oh, we want to appeal to the greater audience, not just the comic book readers or the comic book fans.
Like what I call Hollywoodization.
Yeah, right. So we want it, but it's like this one. It's like this is going to appeal to every audience, people who read comics or not. It's going to have 3 Spider-Mans. I mean, who's not going to like it? You know, and they went and they ran with it. Well, that's what I mean when I say they were brave in doing that.
But do you think, like, having all the nostalgia and throwbacks to the other 2 Spider-Man movies, for someone who hadn't seen those old Spider-Man movies, do you reckon it would have been a special?
Might have been a little bit confusing.
Like,
maybe.
if you hadn't, maybe if you're like younger and you hadn't seen the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies, do you think it would have been as special?
They would have went back and watched them now.
Yeah, well, that's
absolutely. That's exactly what it means. That's, you know, it's just building a brand, and there's no negatives in this. No matter how you look at it, doing a movie like this, there is absolutely no negatives. Everything is positive about it. The back catalogue, bad or good, people will still go out and watch them. You know, and so it gains more back interest into them. You know, in all respect, you know, not only in sales, you know, on streaming services, people will be watching them flat out.
Because I can just imagine somebody sort of, you know, father and son watching it, and the son going, "Oh, what's he talking about, Dad?" And something like that. He goes, "When we get home, I'll show you the first movie."
Yeah.
I can imagine that kid going back and watching that first Tobey Maguire one and being like, this looks like arse. Like, because I remember when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie came out, I loved it so much when I watched it at the cinemas. Like, it was so good. So when the DVD came out, I bought the special 2-disc collector's edition and all that sort of stuff. I watched it on my CRT television and I was like, this looks like a Power Rangers episode. Like, it looked so bad for some reason when it came out DVD, but the cinema, it was just so good.
Little things they did with the villains too, you know, like everyone always bagged William Dafoe's Green Goblin mask.
Everyone loves it now.
Right, yeah, because the way they destroyed the mask. First thing they did was destroy the mask, and you know, little things like that. You know, they listened to the fans. They listened. That's what Marvel do really well. They listen to the fans. So how can we do this? You know, without making it look forced.
Yeah.
Do you think Dafoe was the standout performance out of all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was the absolutely, and Molina, and his de-aging was just amazing. As you can see how much the special effects has gotten better and better with that. I'm not a big fan of the actor who played Electro.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that guy, of the actor, and how he played Electro as well. But in this one, absolutely redeemed himself. They just went back to their roots as villains, you know, as...
I would have actually liked to have seen a bit more Kurt Connors though, because you only saw him like right at the end, changing back.
Yeah.
Because all you saw was brief bits of the lizard.
That's
you only
right.
saw
Yeah.
It's very small.
Yeah, I found they didn't really give him much of a role.
And Sandman as well, didn't do much of
They gave him a little bit more, but not much.
I mean, the way it ended too, the way he ended up, you know, like being at the college, like going to college, and that was just such a great journey. It was. You see, he's getting older, you know, like the adult, and it was a perfect progression. They did well.
Did you cry, Mark? Was it sad and emotional?
No, not really.
No.
Nah, it was good. It was just a really good film. I mean, when Aunt May died, and they finally used the line, I just went, wow. That is just. They really waited for the right time. They didn't force it again. You know, they didn't use the same ones as Uncle Ben. It's just a really well reimagined Spider-Man story.
And that reiterates my 7 different universes.
Correct, absolutely. So this is the MCU. It's always going to be different. Like the MCU has always been a mixture of the Ultimate line of comic books and 616.
Yeah.
Right, it's always been a mixture, a good mixture.
The trailer at the end, obviously, is the new Doctor Strange movie. That looks very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's the one and only trailer I'm ever going to watch.
Because you had to.
Because I had to. So, I mean, to wrap it up.
Awesome.
Epic.
Unbelievable.
Alright guys, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for joining us, MadSpidey.
Thank you for having me again.
And like I said, if you guys haven't subscribed to MadSpidey, make sure you do. He has awesome comic hauls and original art on his channel. And yeah, Mark, you can catch him here whenever you want.
Whatever you want, sure.
Don't forget to like the video, give us a comment, and subscribe if you're new. And say bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Keep it simple.
It was a bit of fun.
No.
You're already fucking recording.
I'm recording because we're going to do the intro, Mark.
Oh, so what are we talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Spider-Man today.
Ah, grouse, Spider-Man.
So you guys won't be in the intro. We'll just bring you in.
Too bad you didn't bring your Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, too bad.
Like a mask or something.
All right.
Oh no, hang on. I got something Spider-Man. Want me to go get it?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so it's like a little toy. Like this, little figurine.
You're not even going to be able to see it from this distance. It's fine.
Look.